Hello and welcome to my channel again. In the last episode, we covered some very important points. The first one was that the purpose of a civilization is to provide its people with true happiness. Number two, the Indian civilization is the only civilization in the whole world that is totally spiritual. Number three, the European civilization is materialistic in its nature and it is opposed to the Indian culture. Fourth is the observation of Sri Aurobindo that the inner mind of India is still not at ease with Western values like liberty, equality, and fraternity. Now, coming to this episode, the idea of existence for the West is a mechanical one that supports a rational and utilitarian culture, whereas the Indian idea of existence is the pursuit of the truth of our being, and through that, to expose is possible to achieve a higher level of existence. Our philosophy, our religion, our arts, our architecture, everything is a tool for the achievement of this purpose. We have said that the European culture is a rationalistic culture, but there was a period in its history when it was seeking after some deeper things of life. But it all went to waste because of the flood of scientific materialism that flooded Europe in the 19th century. The result was that a mere interest in things like Indian occultism, Indian Scientism, and Indian monism remained. But at the same time, something else too happened. That was that ideas of this karma and reincarnation were making their entry into Europe. So, normally one thought that a reshaping of relations between the two was possible now, and the two cultures were coming closer to each other. But this reshaping did not take place at all because the spirituality of Europe was a mere superficial covering to its materialistic core. The West invokes the higher powers to improve its terrestrial life. But we in India, we live in our inner being and dictate to the outer nature. Europe has not accepted even Christianity as a way of its life. Christianity for it was just a means to provide a spiritual covering to its materialistic and rationalistic core. The problem with India was that we tend to live in the past. We have failed to convert our immense spiritual capital into new gains. We must part with something to achieve something more somewhere else. So that is to admit that the creative capacity of India had ended with Sri Shankara, Sri Ramanujacharya, and Sri Madhvacharya. The forms of a culture are the rhythms of its spirit. The forms of a culture are the rhythms of its spirit. While we break the rhythm, the spirit gets expelled from the system. So, spirit in its manifested existence is immutable in its being but mutable in life. We have to see if the rhythm of the moment is a harmony or a discord. We have always to maintain the harmony of that spirit. To detect a defect in the system, in the spirit, is not wrong. It means progress. But to do so depends on your real inner power and wisdom. When modern ideas are pouring in, if our defense is passive, something else happens. These ideas sneak in without our knowledge. They remain unassimilated in the system and they act as agents of disruption to the system itself. Something else also happens here, that is, that they appropriate whatever is valuable to us. Those values will go to strengthen them ultimately. Therefore, we need to throw the attack back with all our might. And at the same time, assimilate whatever is in sync with our spirit. Here, don't try to imitate, don't try to appropriate. The key word is to assimilate. Now, I will come back to the statement that the forms of a culture are the rhythms of its spirit. It's a concept that is somewhat difficult to understand, so I will explain it a bit with some examples too. It means that the spirit, the culture has a spirit, and the spirit has a rhythm, and that rhythm should always be in harmony. And any breakage of this rhythm will result in the spirit being expelled from the culture. That means this culture becomes dead. I will give some examples now. The caste system based on birth, as practiced in India for centuries, has no sanction from the Shastras at all. The Shastras recognize only the Varna system, which is totally based on the individual's aptitude and character. So the caste system as practiced in India, its distinctions, its discriminations, were all derogatory to the dignity of the human being. And my question is it not breaking the rhythm of our culture? Secondly, coming to a lesser example, in Kerala temples, we are sorry to find that most of the priests throw this prasad to the hands of the devotees from a distance. It often looks very derogatory to the dignity of the individual. That is also something that comes within this classification of forces that disrupt the system, that disrupt the rhythm of the spirit. These are disruptors from within the system. Now we will come to an example that is coming from outside. Suppose somebody gives a name to his God and then says that this is the only true God and all other gods are false gods. Is it permissible? That is also disturbing the rhythm of the spirit. Whatever be their explanation, it is impermissible in life. With these words, I close this episode.